Hey guys, welcome back to Morgan Hill Farms. First, I just want to say welcome and thank you to all of my new subscribers as well as everybody who's been there since the beginning. It's a little bit mind-blowing that there's even one person that wants to watch what I'm talking about, let alone 8,000. I do know that my channel is still very small in the grand scheme of things, but I really appreciate you all and I'm so glad that you're here. So because I have so many new subscribers, I thought I would do a video kind of introducing myself and letting you all know how we got to come to this property and homestead. This was never even on my radar. I never dreamed of having a farm. I could have cared less. I didn't even want a dog. We had had 2 cats at our previous property, and that was really just to control the mice population because we were in a heavily wooded area. So animals were not my thing. I had never grown a plant in my life. I had no even indoor house plants at that point. So how in the world did we get from that to here? Well, it all started a few months before the world went crazy in 2020. We were living in a home in South Carolina in a very desirable county. And that home we had purchased a few years prior. We had renovated it from the ground up. I mean, we had put in new windows, new HVAC systems, new gutters, a new roof, redid the basement, redid the deck, landscaping. And we had made that home essentially into our dream home. And we had no plans or thoughts of ever moving from that property. But a couple of months before the world went crazy, as I would pray, all I could hear in my mind was sell the house, sell the house, sell the house, sell the house. It was so intense that I couldn't even get a prayer out because all I would hear was that feedback, just constant every time that I prayed. And I just ignored it. I pushed it to the side and I said, there's no way I'm selling this house. Why would I sell this house? I had been so far removed at this point, my entire life really, from anything that had ever happened in the world, whether that be economically, politically, anything. I remember going into Office Depot to buy a printer because our printer had broken, and I came home and I told my husband, Nate, I said, it's the funniest thing. There's this huge banner outside of Office Depot saying, we sell toilet paper. And he said, oh, you don't know. And I said, no, I don't know what. And he told me, you know, about the toilet paper shortage and about COVID and what was going on. And then shortly thereafter, we went into lockdown. Anyways, it was during that time that I went to the grocery store, and I remember my freezers were almost empty. And so I thought, you know, I've got to go, I've got to get some meat, some chicken, some ground beef. And those refrigerated areas where they kept the meat were empty. I mean, there wasn't even a pack of liver or tripe or anything. Not that I would buy that and eat that, but nothing was there. A lot of the products that I normally bought my family were gone. And it was just, I don't know. I'm not sure if it was eye-opening or if it was terrifying. And I panicked. It was at that point that I said, oh my gosh, we've got to start growing our own food. So the property that we lived on, although we were on 5 acres, we were very heavily treed. We were on a really steep slope. We had a home that in the front looked like 2 stories, but in the back had a basement. So that's how sloped the lot was. And we also had this beautiful creek that ran down in the back, but when we would get heavy rains, it would completely flood. So as far as starting to grow all of our own food there, we were pretty limited. I did have Nate put in a couple of raised beds for me, and he did that. But other than that, we weren't allowed to have any type of animals, no chickens, no rabbits, nothing. We could have had 5 horses because we were zoned equestrian. But other than that, there was no way that we were going to be able to do there what I felt that we needed to do. So about a month later, I had somebody come to my door and tell me that they wanted to buy my house. And that's when I knew that I really needed to listen to God telling me to sell our house. And we did. We went under contract with that couple, and we decided to purchase a home in another area. It was on 56 acres, very small home for what we were used to. It was 3 bedrooms. It had a kitchen and a family room, and that was it. Now we have 4 kids, and then of course Nate and I. So for a family of 6 coming from a larger home, I thought, you know what, I can do it. I can make it work. But when the inspection came back on that house, the foundation was in really bad shape, and we decided to back out. And the property that we sit on right now was the only other property that was available that had the amount of land and the lay of the land that we wanted. We wanted to make sure that we weren't on super sloped areas. We just wanted to make sure that we were going to create a garden and create an area where we could do what we felt that we needed to do to provide for our family. So this particular home sits in a different county than where we were. It was not ever on our radar as far as moving to this area. In fact, I remember saying, gosh, who even moves to that town? And then we ended up coming here. Of course, now we love it. But at that time, it was just, I just didn't see how anything was gonna work out. So as soon as we got to this property, we took care of a few items in the house that really needed to be dealt with, and then we got to building this garden. I was researching like crazy, taking out tons of books from the library, just trying to learn, and ultimately started everything in solo cups that year with potting soil. I started a lot of my own seeds, probably about 80% of them, and I had never done this before. When Nate had built me those couple of raised beds back at the old property, I would just, I went down to Lowe's and got a few herbs and things like that. So, yep, so we starting our own seeds, and we got chickens. We got lots and lots of chickens. We got a dual purpose breed, so we'd have meat birds. Then we ended up bringing dairy goats onto the property and pigs. Every year we bring on 2 pigs and we process those puppies ourselves. So if you're thinking that you could never possibly leave your lifestyle in the suburbs, that you can never imagine slaughtering your own meat, just know that that was never something that I ever thought I would do. When we lived at that last property, my neighbor said, hey, I'm gonna get chickens. Do you want chickens? She said, I don't think anybody will know in the HOA. We'll just hide them behind the house. And I thought, why in the world would you want to get a chicken? I mean, that is how far I was from this lifestyle. I feel like a lot of homesteaders that you see have always dreamed of this and the peaceful country and, milking your own animals and collecting eggs in the morning and harvesting your own fresh food. That was not me. I did it sheerly because I panicked. But honestly, now our lives have changed so drastically that I can't imagine not doing it. My level of anxiety and fear has just gone down so much, knowing that I have the ability to feed my kids. They were always talking about food shortages and supply chain issues and, you need to be prepared and this and that. And I thought, if there's going to be a food shortage, there's not going to be one at my house. I cannot watch my kids go hungry. And so that is why I changed so drastically from someone who only cared about keeping my house clean and going to Hobby Lobby to buy things to make bracelets with my girls, to spending 8 hours a day for most of the year down in this garden or up in my kitchen preserving food. Yeah, it's kind of crazy when I look back, but honestly, it's been an amazing change. It's been great, although it is a lot of work. Something about the garden, it just gives you peace. I can be so frustrated and so angry or really whatever I'm feeling, and if I come down to the garden, that all just dissipates, and it's amazing. And I feel like I'm teaching my kids valuable skills. I feel like this is something, I'm not saying that nobody ever argues when I tell them to come down and help me in the garden, because there is a fair bit of grumbling here, but I feel that if they ever needed to, they would have the skills to do this. They would know how to preserve this food, how to pressure can, how to freeze items, how to harvest them, how to grow them. And I just feel that that is so important in our world right now. Honestly, I think that if I was still in the old property without doing any of this, I think that I would find myself extremely anxious and extremely paranoid just about the world that we live in. My eyes have been opened so much to everything kind of happening in the world and how it's affecting us, and kind of, seeing that writing on the wall. And so I'm so happy to be able to have had the opportunity to move here. So if you guys are kind of on the fence of doing this, I say just jump in. There's no time like the present, and I actually feel like it's a fantastic time to start. providing for your own family just in case. And you know, if nothing ever happens, then you'll have a stocked pantry, and on those nights where you've got baseball and softball and soccer and another kid somewhere else, you'll be able to just pull some ready-made meals right off of your pantry shelf, throw them on the stove, and poof, dinner's done. I mean, if anything else, you'll just have that convenience there. So again, I just want to say thank you to all of you that are watching me, all of the new subscribers, and all of you that had been there since the beginning, that always commented on my videos. I so appreciate your support. Like I said, it's mind-blowing that anybody even wants to see what I'm doing here, but I hope that some of this information maybe helps you see that just because you weren't raised on a farm, just because none of this was ever on your radar, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I mean, seriously, it's literally putting a seed in the ground and it just grows. And I really have to give all of that thanks to God. He really made this possible for us. Sometimes I look out onto my property and I think, wow, you know, I knew He had a plan for us, but I never imagined it would be this good. So thank you guys, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.